Welcome back to another episode of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iron.
What's going on, dude?
And on the sticks, we got TJ.
Hello.
All right. Today is a very important, special day.
Well, in like our real time.
Oh, yeah, in our real time. So
you guys watching this.
It was 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days was a really important, special day. Hopefully you guys happened to catch that. I don't blame you if you didn't, because it kind of happened really quickly.
Super quick.
Like very fast.
Yeah. Yes. So what the hell are we talking about, dude?
Yeah, we kind of hyped it up for the week or two leading up to the NAT minor redirects, right? We've been kind of telling you guys, dropping videos here and there, explaining the contextual badassness of this token,
the most badass token in all of crypto.
Yeah, and it just became even more badass, if you could imagine it. It was already originally pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because of it being, the first digital matter theory substance created by Bitcoin, is perpetually issued and generated and manifested per block.
Mm-hmm.
That's an actual novelty.
That's right.
But now it's like being directed. The new substance creation prior to 2 days ago was being essentially up for grabs for anybody to kind of like claim as their own.
Mm-hmm.
But that led to some issues, some concentration problems.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's being redirected to the Bitcoin winners, right? The miners that win every block reward.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have an additional subsidy. So, yeah, party.
Yeah.
We did it, right?
Applause all around.
Yeah.
There we go. We did it. Woo. Yeah. And so what block was that?
885588.
A palindrome.
That was a palindrome.
We got super lucky that the stars aligned. TJ happened to be here. It was around the time that we record anyways.
I easily could have fumbled that recording. I've easily.
Yeah, you just strolled in right before we pressed record.
You had no urgency. You were just like
I was just,
normal time. Just
I knew fate would put me in this seat at the right exact moment.
See,
of time,
I was
dude.
quite the opposite, dude.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning and I was like, "Will, do I have to be there early? Like, what time's this block? I don't want to miss it."
We were texting each other that this is
not me. I was like those fools. It's like they're stressing over. We're gonna be there at the exact right time, and it happened to manifest. Dude.
Yeah, as soon as you sat down, we pressed.
I'm like, what are you
stream.
guys doing up here? You guys are. Was you guys having fun? I just strolled in all casual with my muffin, my Dutch Brothers caffeine.
Wow, I can't believe you didn't have the urgency, dude. After so many texts.
Well, to be honest, I was expecting like a snooze of a wait. I was like, I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I pulled up and there was like literally pulled up into the driveway. I see you guys texting or whatever, sending out messages like 6 blocks.
Yeah.
Like, all right, And then I come upstairs and it's like, oh no, it's 2. It's like, damn, dude, that was fast.
Yeah.
So I was, like I said though, fate was was right on time for me.
So for those of you watching, we'll add a link to the live stream so that you can watch it as well. This is going to be a historic video. I think people 100 years from now will watch this and be like, that was the moment where everything made sense for Bitcoin to sustain itself.
Let's hope. That's the grand experiment, right? In the optimist point of view of like what has occurred.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because now here we are watching like subsequent blocks post 885588 on natgmi.com, and you're seeing like, these miners receiving NAT tokens in real time. We have like AntPool soon to be rebranded to NATpool because they were first.
Yeah. They need to rebrand. NAT. It's simple.
They have to. They already have like the right lettering. They just need to
just move the N over. Just shift it one.
Yeah, what are on your building? We know you got like those letters, right?
Just take it down. Just move it to the side.
Yeah, just a couple of those.
NATpool.
And you got a whole new operation going, dude.
Yeah.
Because, little do they know that right now they're the number 1 slurpers of NAT. Look at that.
Yeah. So they're ahead of everybody else. NATpool, 2.3 billion NAT tokens mined. And so far, there are 6 blocks mined.
Yeah, which shouldn't be surprising. Are they the number 1 Bitcoin miner? Who is the...
It could be Foundry, between Foundry and AntPool.
Let's find out.
Yeah, so on this Palindrome block, all the NAT tokens from now on are going to be directed to the winners of the blocks themselves.
Yeah.
So big move for today. And we held a live stream. Fitzy joined us. Benny joined us, and we got to talk to them for roughly 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think they're number one. So them being the dominant slurper of today, it's quite
Just a happenstance.
it has to be again destiny calling, dude. Just shift those letters around.
I mean, this is absolutely destiny.
Nat poll, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, it just all worked out. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I was happy at first. The interface wasn't displaying right away. Whenever the block was mined, I was like, "Uh-oh, we're gonna miss out on that coolness of it actually working and being represented in real time." But it quickly started to work again.
Yeah, the community told us, "Hey, it works for me." I was like, "Oh, I just need a refresh."
Just need another refresh. And there it is. We captured the moment of awe, right?
Yeah,
it was like, holy shit, it's actually happening. Up until this block, there's only been one subsidy token being provided to the miners, providing the highly valuable efforts and work to maintain the security of this network.
Yes.
And now there's two, right?
That's
Here's evidence and proof of that.
Such a big deal, right? Yeah. So one of the things that I did in the live stream, I explained the issue kind of like from a different perspective, because usually we start with DMT and like, what the hell is that? But this time I started with the Bitcoin problem, which isn't talked about a lot. People have mentioned this problem before.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. So some of the feedback we're getting from people who see what's happening with NAT, they know it's like inherently interesting and like a unique contribution to Bitcoin, but it's like the follow-up is like, okay, how are you going to actually like convince miners in particular like what's going on, and then not just them, like everybody else, the masses.
Yeah, the miners actually don't matter because they're doing the work already. And this is supposed to fund them and continue funding them past the subsidy of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
But what actually matters most is the audience, it's the people.
Yeah. So how do you contextualize like what's happening? So like what you're saying is one approach is like describe the problem, which I don't think like the masses care too much about, to be honest.
No, they don't. Absolutely not.
Maybe this is a better like approach when communicating to the miners specifically. It's like, hey guys, you guys are obviously like deeply invested into like this whole mechanism. So, I'm sure you guys are like you said, they're coming up with new business models to try and sustain their operations and stuff like this, right? So it's hyper relevant to that direct cause of an issue. But yeah, as far as how do you get the masses on board with what's happening here, that's a little bit trickier, right?
I mean, it's as tricky as onboarding the masses to Bitcoin. So however difficult that was,
that's a good point.
That's how difficult this will be.
Yeah.
And it
was very difficult.
It was. Yeah, absolutely.
I faded Bitcoin a couple of times. So did you even.
I did, yeah.
So it wasn't like one of those things where at first glance you intuitively grasp.
And
right?
NAT is no different than Bitcoin.
Yeah,
like,
from that.
NAT is not intuitive at all. But once you understand Bitcoin and you understand its power, which we're going to be talking about later, you understand its value. And once you understand how Bitcoin works, you understand essentially what's happening with NAT.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be a problem, but it's a problem worth looking into, because that's the early lesson everybody in crypto learns, is that everyone faded Bitcoin, everybody, right? And then Bitcoin gets to a point where you can't fade it anymore. And then that's when you buy it, and then that's when you start learning about it, and it's like, holy shit, I should have bought it 5 years ago when it was $100.
Right. Yeah, but you need those early believers, right? So like now that like the technical stuff is kind of behind us, right? Shout out to Benny and the Track and Tap team for working on this along with us for so long and getting us to this point. But yeah, now all that's like it's handled, it's working. So now it's a bigger effort is ahead of us. This continual like, I guess, discovery and search for like deeper meaning in all this stuff. It's the same thing the OG Bitcoin community had to like struggle with in its earliest of days, right? It's like, okay, we have like a handful of people like participating in this network. Bitcoin has a semblance of value. It was probably like a few million in market cap at some point.
You know what? We're probably the next generation of that guy who was telling everybody in 2011 just to buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, or was it 2012?
I don't know. I think it was either 2012, 2013, 2011. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
you're
like
talking
just-
about Da Vinci.
Yeah, Da Vinci. Just buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. You'll thank me later.
Yeah, he should have said buy 1 Bitcoin because at the time it was like
Hundreds of dollars.
like $200 or
Yeah.
something. Because buying $1 of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that gets you 0.01 Bitcoin at the time.
Yeah, but it was a good recommendation because even having $1 in the game back then would have kept you like
get you involved.
keep you paying attention to like what's happening.
Yeah, and that was his motivation. Is that just get $1? That's all you need.
Have some skin in the game. The least amount of skin you could put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that $1 is not going to turn into $1 million.
No, not for another 30 years, I guess.
Like that $1 right now is probably worth like
$1,000.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 0.01 Bitcoin.
$1.
$890, right?
Hold on, $890.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Somebody do the quick math for me,
dude. 0.01 Bitcoin of 100,000 is 1,000.
Yeah, but at the time of that recording,
yeah, it was $1 from $100, so it was 0.01 Bitcoin.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So what'd you say, 1,000? So it did 1,000x since then?
1,000x, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's definitely not like life changing or anything. But again,
yeah,
the life changing move was paying attention. Essentially.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah,
paying attention in 2012, 2013, because guess what? Yeah, Bitcoin has only continued its expansion and its growth and value and all that, but an entire like industry was born around it.
Yeah,
and there's a similar parallel to what this NAT token represents as well. There is like a new sector, a new asset demographic like that is emerging around NAT, right, with the DMT ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is a very unique token in that sense because we've all experienced the meme mania that occurred over the last year, and the memes are just like a function of community, which is cool, right? Memes are good and they're going to stick around and whatever, right? But this is like it has properties of a meme, but it represents an entire token ecosystem and platform and function. And
like, yeah, that's going to be challenging in the early days, I think, for people to understand that. But that's the point, right? Put $1 in today into NAT so that you could keep your eyes fixated on the growth and expansion of this ecosystem. So
yeah,
you don't miss the next NAT cats or the next whatever it is that emerges from within the DMT space that does that like 1,000, 10,000x, whatever, right? Because that's those are the real. We've seen it already happen, yeah, and it will happen again. I'm confident in that because it is a complete like reinterpretation of like where value should be originating from in the digital space, right?
Yeah, there was a couple of weeks where everybody in the Ethereum ecosystem was talking about NatCats.
A couple of weeks
ago? No. There was a couple of week span where everybody was talking about NatCats.
Yeah, because this project just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Literally like a free mint, wasn't even supported by like, top marketplaces like Magic Eden for several weeks after the mint.
Several weeks people were trading this using spreadsheets.
Yeah, on Discord.
Yeah.
And like, it's different Excel spreadsheets, OTC, and it was a vibrant, active market. I've never seen that before.
It's so crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that's like that was a tell on its own. It's like, holy shit, there's like some organic like interest brewing here, and it was crazy, right? And then eventually it got to Magic Eden and like just ballooned to like 10,000?
10,000x or $10,000
was like the floor of a NAT cat, right? Something like that. Insane, right? So, and it's still lingering as like every now and then it appears its head into the top 10 demographic of ordinals and such. So far so good, right? We're about a year and a half, I'd say, maybe less than that. Like, is it like 16 months, 15 months since?
Yeah, since November 2023.
Whatever. Let's call it a year and a half at this point.
Yeah.
Into this experiment, right?
Yeah, and take a look at all the other meta protocols after a year and a half. See where they're at, right? Non-existent.
Well, which ones? The ones on Bitcoin?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that have come and gone for sure because it's tough. It's not an easy arena, I guess. Like
I mean, it's because our position has always been, figure out if you're going to be on a new chain, figure out what can be done on that chain that cannot be done anywhere else. And in the context of Bitcoin, it's DMT.
Yeah, we hold firm on that conviction, and we have a biased take. We definitely have a biased take.
Everybody does, though.
Yeah.
So no one is unique in that way.
Correct, but still, I mean, we're relying on outside sources to kind of like counteract that bias. It's like, you know, because we haven't
show us something different. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we have an outside source that is sort of aligning to that.
That's right. Yeah. Let's talk about this new source.
But I think we should leave it towards the end. Let's jump into the metaverse instead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why are we doing that? Because
yeah. So let's first start with the article. So I think it was the day before the NAT redirect. We posted this article, and definitely read it because it's a good read. There's a video that explains.
Should we watch these or no?
The NAT token.
This is
I mean, it's only a minute.
Podcast, dude. We got time.
Yeah.
Well, should we start with this one or the DMT one?
Every 4 years.
Yeah, let's start with Okay, let's start DMT. So, if this is the first time you're hearing about DMT, digital matter theory, and you want to know what it is, like you know where it came from, watch this video. We're gonna play it right now, and here we go.
In the beginning, there was Bitcoin. The digital universe exploded into existence. In the same way that the Big Bang created all the ingredients and building blocks for everything we experience and own in the physical world, Satoshi's creation of Bitcoin achieved the same for the digital world.
There's
and just
an
like in the physical world, as time progressed, organic patterns of physical matter started to emerge in the form of elements, like hydrogen and oxygen forming water. And these were inevitably identified and organized into what we now know as the periodic table of elements. And since the moment of Bitcoin's inception, it's now possible to look back and identify organically emerging patterns within Bitcoin's raw data. This phenomenon now has a name: DMT. No, not that DMT. Digital matter theory. Digital matter theory states that the organically occurring, non-arbitrary data being produced in every Bitcoin block can be mapped into a digital periodic table. As with physical elements such as gold and diamonds, some digital elements are rarer than others. And as with physical elements, digital elements on Bitcoin must also first be discovered, but once they are, they can be used to create almost anything: in-game items, metaverse skyscrapers, art, or PFPs. The Track network enables the discovery of digital elements by indexing raw Bitcoin block data to unearth these data patterns. Without Track, digital matter would still remain undiscovered to this day. And as the only protocol to support the creation of non-arbitrary assets, TAP is proud to be the home of DMT, powered by Track, accessed by TAP. DMT, built by Bitcoin.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so the idea of like other stuff can also be essentially rendered and manifested through the utilization of Bitcoin's data substrate layer. That is the industry parallel that we're talking about, right? NAT represents something of semblance to what Bitcoin represented in its earliest of days. It's like an entirely new digital paradigm is afoot.
Yeah.
Right? Because Bitcoin was working and it solved a huge computer science dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have like legitimacy to the idea of like leveraging the internet and like the network effects of like human contribution of energy and resource to now like introduce a digital economy.
Yeah. And this follows the second law of thermodynamics. The reason is because the reason we have all the stuff that we have today is because of the Industrial Revolution. And in that time, we discovered these commodities and we leveraged these commodities to create industries out of it, right? Oil, right? Gold.
Yeah, correct.
And these commodities took millions and millions of years to be generated by the energy input of essentially physics, but through the processes of temperatures and pressures and this concentration of that energy plus time yielded oil and gold and all these different things, right? So that is a function of energy, right? So energy put into a system reduces its entropy because without touching anything, entropy increases, right? So it's kind of like your home and in your room. If you don't clean it up, it just gets dirtier and messier, right? You need to inject energy into your room to reduce the entropy, right? To clean it up and straighten everything up, right?
Right.
So Bitcoin is that. There's a giant amount of energy injected into Bitcoin, and it is producing a low entropy state known as the blockchain.
Right.
And so that's where the name digital matter theory came from, because this is like essentially creating matter in the same way the earth created oil and gold and everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now with this framework, it's simply just a language to help everyone understand that there's patterns on Bitcoin, and you can leverage those patterns by deploying tokens out of those patterns.
Yeah.
And so the very first token was the NAT token.
Yeah. So that introduced this novelty of a non-arbitrary token, right? That's something we've coined as like a perfect encapsulation of like what is distinguishable difference between when you leverage Bitcoin as that substrate versus not, right? So we've had 15 years of digital manifestation without like any like tangible utilization of something of thermodynamic property. But because Bitcoin seems to be on this like, path to just continuing to strengthen that, like the nature of it that is like unbreakable. And now that we have a framework around that can leverage that, and now we have something closer to what we like intuitively interpret as valuable in our physical in reality, right? Which are those commodities that are produced through those unbreakable forces of nature and physics and all this stuff. These are real like valuable things, right? So Nat, let's watch this video just to kind of understand.
Yeah, there was one critique I wanted to bring up is the NAT itself, non-arbitrary token. So, people hear non-arbitrary tokens like, what does that mean, right? And it's supposed to mean that it's non-arbitrary in the sense that we didn't make the decision, that Bitcoin did, right? That's why it's non-arbitrary.
As far as the supply of it, right?
The supply, correct.
Yeah, because if you understand crypto even here long enough, you understand most tokens, what dictates their supply. Some human at the deploy moment of time for that token's existence, they just arbitrarily decided this one should be 1 billion. This one should be 21 million. This one should be.
Not only that, sometimes these projects they launch a new token and then they do a transition to the new token, and that new token has some arbitrary supply growth, right? That's some APY yield, like just to help sustain, and like these are just arbitrary random decisions by humans. And so this narrative counteracts that. It is completely up to Bitcoin to decide how many NAT tokens are generated, because it generates per block indefinitely after the subsidy. And so the criticism is not arbitrary. Like, that's hard to understand. You know what else is hard to understand? Non-fungible tokens, right? Or fungible tokens. I remember when we first got into crypto, we're like, fungible? Like, what is this word?
Yeah, you mean just from like the vocabulary of it, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the concept.
Yeah, the vocabulary, right?
Yeah, like being told you should care about non-fungible tokens for the first time probably meant nothing to most people. Right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden 2021 comes around and you got celebrities and you got Trump launching NFTs.
Everybody.
As if like it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Correct. So that's, I see what you're saying. So NAT, NFT, obviously they're very close. And like
it's one letter off.
Visual perception. Yeah. They're NATs, they're NFTs, whatever. So a non-arbitrary token, you're right. Like nobody understood what fungibility meant. I didn't. Like when I first had to make that distinguishment between like a fungible and non-fungible token. It's like I had to understand, do a little bit of.
Most people don't understand what fiat currency is.
Yeah. So then now people are going to have to kind of like tamper into their brains to see the difference between something that is arbitrary and not. Right.
Yeah.
And we believe Bitcoin is at the state where you can, theoretically assign digital assets that are rooted to, Bitcoin as that arbiter of digital existence. Like that's what makes it not arbitrary. Right.
Yeah. And the parallel is that as unbreakable as the data within Bitcoin's blockchain is, it's as unbreakable as the laws of physics.
Yeah. Correct. So that's our thesis. That's what we've been preaching here for about 1.5 years now almost. Yeah. And we feel this is something worth, talking about perpetually because, part of the grand experiment of building things on Bitcoin and trying to build an ecosystem around it is discovering that native property to Bitcoin itself that is conducive to something original, something that can only be done on Bitcoin. Right?
Yeah, just like everybody talks about Bitcoin. They've talked about Bitcoin since it dropped. It's just only a few people knew about it and cared about it in the early days. Now the whole world cares about it, right? We got countries adopting it, states and cities and institutions adopting it. Everyone needs to also talk about the NAT in the same way. That's the only way it could be successful.
Yeah.
Like it's not just gonna like balloon to like this ridiculous market cap because nobody's talking about it. That's not how it works. It is a function of a network effect.
Pretty much. Yeah. So right now we're pretty early. So yeah, let's watch this.
Yeah.
Just so this is more honed in on the NAT miner redirect that again just was officially stamped into blockchains or Bitcoin's block history.
Yeah, 88, 55, 88. It's Palindrome.
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
All right, here we go.
Every 4 years, miners' rewards are slashed in half. Miners secure the chain, so rewarding them is vital. Without them, Bitcoin's future would be at risk. Currently, the only direct reward that miners receive is the Bitcoin mined from each block. Activity on Layer 1 protocols, such as Ordinals and Runes, drives some additional revenue to miners in the form of transaction fees. But these are indirect rewards, so miners never get to share in the upside of tokens themselves. But this is about to change. The emergence of digital matter is set to revolutionize the Bitcoin miner revenue model forever, as it now enables additional block subsidies to be driven directly to miners on top of their standard Bitcoin rewards. NAT, the first DMT asset ever created, will become the first additional token paid to miners. The NAT token leverages DMT in a unique way. Issuance decreases as Bitcoin's hash rate increases, which perfectly aligns miners' incentives, because the more secure the chain becomes, fewer new tokens are created. This is made possible because the tracked network indexes Bitcoin data, including the bits field, which encodes mining difficulty. So as that number fluctuates, the production of DMT tokens is automatically regulated by Bitcoin. This groundbreaking incentive mechanism is being pioneered by the TAP protocol so that all DMT tokens launched on TAP can opt into rewarding miners directly. This will birth an entirely new breed of mission tokens that will directly contribute to Bitcoin's thermodynamic security. TAP protocol is on a mission to support the miners, secure the chain, and protect the future of Bitcoin.
Another perfect explanation by TAP protocol.
Yeah, that should do it.
Yeah, man. This is another great video.
So if you're trying to DMT pill or NAT pill your friends and family or your foes,
yeah,
whatever, dude, just send them those 2 videos.
Yeah, send them to your frenemies or enemies, whatever you want. But
yeah,
this is like a very important mission everyone is going to care about.
Yeah, and it comes at a time where I think the space direly needs something of substance like this, where we're not just continually chasing our tails for the next like celebrity coin, the next country coin that's going to rug us.
Yeah.
You know, the next thing being peddled by like these obvious influencers out to like just completely fuck us at the end of the day. I mean, the industry in space is absolutely exhausted at this point. Like having that being like the fixture and centerpiece focus of like, this is a representation of what our industry can come up with this value.
Yeah.
To me, I interpret that as like the obvious signals of like of an exhaustion of an arbitrary token era. I keep saying that, like, and people might think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Like these are the dying gasps of like something that doesn't really make any sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is building an entire digital sector of value that's baseless.
Yeah.
Fundamentally is absolutely derived from nothing of value. And Bitcoin has conjured up this thing that is, we all agree on, has tremendous value and will accelerate over time as energy continues to be funneled towards it.
Yeah.
Like that is the base substrate of where we should derive all future digital value from.
Yeah.
That is like the base premise of DMT.
Yeah.
Right?
I couldn't agree more. And if you read this article, there's a section
Every
here.
4 years, miners' rewards.
There's a section here that says this NAT token is the #1 mission coin on Bitcoin by far. There's nothing close to it. 100% free and fair, no team allocation, no pre-sale, organic decentralized community, harnesses the thermodynamic properties of Bitcoin.
In the beginning,
there is no insider group.
Bitcoin.
There is 100% community driven and does not pay influencers because there's no money to pay anybody to push this.
Can't do it, dude. You can't peddle anything to KOLs out there.
Nope.
You're either going to get on board or you're not. Just like Bitcoin, right? Nobody was paying.
Yeah.
Satoshi wasn't out there slinging bits around like Satoshis to anybody.
Nope.
To talk about his Bitcoin thing, right? It just organically, you know, community has to form around these things, right? And it, like you said, it takes time. It took Bitcoin a lot of time for that to like organically compound into something where now it has everyone's attention at this point.
Yeah. So Bitcoin had a very difficult thing to do. right? At that time when it spawned in 2009. So equally, NAT has a very difficult thing to do for people to understand, like what is happening. But because we're sitting on the shoulders of giants, like the amount of time this takes to catch on is going to be significantly less than the amount of time it took for Bitcoin to catch on.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, we have 15 years of history of
like training everybody's like tokens and
that digital
blockchain and
right. Yeah, digital value there's potential in that.
Yeah.
It can be manifested, even though arbitrarily it's been happening.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we have a $2 or $3 trillion ecosystem as a result, right?
Right.
So yeah, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't expect NAT, but the mission is to get NAT of notable value and market validation, right? Just like every digital currency, digital asset, that is the internal mission, right? But this one comes with that aligned purpose to further enhancing the security of Bitcoin as a result of that.
Yeah.
As if this thing has a trajectory right now, it's like a 4 or 5 million market cap. If it can hit the billion or 10 billion, market validation point, like we're talking a significant contribution to, sustaining miners at the end of the day. Cause like we just saw on NatGMI, like if you go back to NatGMI real quick, like just let's run like a thought simulation. I mean,
okay.
Like, how do you think Antpool feels looking at, they saw that, oh shit, okay, we were the first ones to get some NAT tokens. That's cool. They crunched the number, the value of the current market cap. It's probably what, like they received $20-$30 or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing that number in the air.
Probably around that much so far.
Let's say it's $100. Like, and they're currently receiving like 3.125 Bitcoin. So let's say they're
300 grand.
300 grand in that same block. So it's like a $100 contribution in that definitely doesn't like.
Yeah, it's not gonna
doesn't ping that much, right? This isn't gonna help. Maybe they can go get like lunch.
Yeah,
with those funds.
They're not paying the party bus at all with this.
Yeah. So right now, NAT is not keeping the lights on for these miners in any way, shape, or form. But okay, the simulation is at $1 billion market cap, which we've seen,
which right now is worth 4.7 million market cap.
Yeah.
So $1 billion. What are we talking about here?
Well, if it's $100, so what is that? Is that 100x?
No, that's 400.
Say that's
200x. Yeah.
So now that $100 becomes what? 100 times 200 is 20,000 or 2,000?
20,000.
Okay, now we're talking. I think it is like 20,000. TJ, help us, dude. Calculator. What is that?
Yeah, it's 20,000. Yeah.
$20,000. It's like now I think we're piquing their interest a bit, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Party bus all the way.
Okay, what about a 10 billion market valuation?
200,000.
Right. I think we're off though. That sounds like too much.
No,
that sounds too good to be true.
You're spot on.
Okay, well then that initial like $100
probably
has to be way off. There's no way. There's no way at a 10 billion market cap we're like on parity with like, Bitcoin subsidization. We're getting close to it. So, but you get the idea. You understand like the motivation now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, ultimately this is not going to work unless there's a network effect, and that network effect is a function of like bodies and just the narrative and the concept propagating. And so pretty soon, I'm trying to get Beasting to jump in if he can. We're trying to showcase some of the stuff here, but he's not in the metaverse. You want to show this, TJ, real quick?
You're up.
We're inside the metaverse. I'm by myself, but this is a production of Outer Studios. The reason why we're showing you this is because we want to showcase some of the wearables, and we're going to be launching a collection of digital wearables, and then eventually we'll have actual physical wearables pretty soon. But the whole reason is because we want the revenue generated from these wearables to go directly to funding the liquidity provisioning at TaparooSwap, so that people who understand the mission, they want to join the mission, they can acquire these NAT tokens without any difficulty. Because right now it's pretty difficult to acquire NAT tokens. But since we can't show anything here, then we will jump into the Natrix, and I think we do have a chance to show something there. So let me switch over to the Natrix here. close this. Actually, let me leave it open. And I'm going to go in here. Yeah, let's jump into the Natrix.
All right.
And then I'm gonna share with you a piece of code that all you got to do is copy and paste into.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let me know when you're in there.
I'm already in here.
Okay.
Where are you gonna paste it into? You got some pictures you could show too, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. So let me show these. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, here we go. So these are some images. All right, this item up here above his head is like kind of like a chat window, but it's actually a wearable that you put on, and it just says, you know, all kinds of like NAT speak. For example, this one says NAT, all who wander are lost, and then NAT to be missed, and then NAT to be underestimated. And so these are just like examples, and then there's like a foam finger.
Gold one, right? Is that the gold one?
Yeah, that's a gold one. What does that say? NAT bad at all.
Not bad. So yeah, if you haven't picked up on the shtick yet, this is what we call NAT speak. So it's just the
replacement of the word not with NAT.
Yeah. Basically. That's
when you base it down to its purest form.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it NAT the best idea ever, dude?
It's definitely not.
What?
It's definitely not.
But it is though. It is the best idea ever.
Yeah.
Right? Are you NAT entertained?
I'm definitely not entertained.
Wait, what? So you don't like it? You're in disagreement with NAT speak. You think it's a bad idea? You're confusing the hell out of me, dude. Maybe NAT speak was a mistake. Now we're confusing like English.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny because our website is NAT GMI, so NAT couldn't make it.
Exactly.
So it's a double entendre. It's like you can use it positively or negatively.
Yeah, typically you say NAT GM or
not gonna make NGMI
to people who are like, you know, fudders of a certain project or whatever. You're not gonna make it, dude, because you don't get it.
Right.
So, or you could say, you know, NAT GMI, like NAT's gonna make it.
That's right.
Woo! Right?
Yeah.
So it's got its double utility purpose, whatever. The idea is to, you know, get NAT speak out there, man. We got to build some, you know, part of mimetic value is, you know, finding the crux of the joke, I guess, the crux of the culture that's represented by this coin, this token or whatever.
Right.
Right. What is Bitcoin's version of that? It's like
doesn't
laser eyes, red lasers.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Maxi culture, right? That's definitely like an emergence of like culture within the community of Bitcoin. It's like,
yeah, but it came out of thin air, right? Because lasers,
it's like we're locked in on Bitcoin. We're out here to phaser all of you fucking crypto degens with our laser balls, our laser eyeballs, right? Let me show you what that looks like, dude. Are you in the Natrix yet?
I'm in now.
Here, I'm gonna come.
Oh yeah, there you are
right now, dude. So I'm a.
That's right. So you're a maxi.
I'm a Bitcoiner, dude. This is what Bitcoiners they do. They cut you into pieces with their maximalism.
Right. Yeah, and so that came out of thin air, but NAT GMI, NAT speak, that's purely like.
Well, that came out of thin air too.
Yeah, but it just fits so perfectly.
It just happened organically.
And pool is now NAT pool.
That's right.
We didn't do this. The universe brought that to us.
Yeah. What are the chances of the first miner would just happen to be like scrambled NAT?
Scrambled NAT.
It's perfect. It almost seems fake.
It's NAT scrambled.
Yeah. So, okay. So why are we in the Natrix? Oh, yeah.
All right.
So back to NAT and so the technical.
TJ, give us a time. What's
We have 20 minutes left.
All right. We're going to have to do this fast. So I need to.
Yeah, but first let's set it up. Okay. So the technicals are behind us. So now it's like, not only is education important and again, propagating the concepts and the culture, the vibes, whatever, all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is the task ahead of us. Liquidity is really like the biggest issue for NAT in its current state, right? Just
Correct.
Like I'm sure the early days of Bitcoin, even a bigger issue is probably like, I imagine in like the earliest years of Bitcoin's propagation, it was almost impossible to get.
Yeah.
Unless you were like a miner, right?
Correct.
Up until like Mt. Gox and like other, operators came on board to kind of like create these access points for the market.
Yes.
That's when things really took off for Bitcoin, right?
Right.
I would say.
Yes.
So NAT is like in a similar situation, mostly due to like the immaturity of the Bitcoin ecosystem as a whole. It is not a very like mature market environment yet. So what you see a lot of like native Bitcoin tokens doing is like porting to, you know, ecosystem chains with more robust and mature liquidity environments like Solana,
Yeah.
like Ethereum, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But in Nat's case, we're keeping everything at home base here on Bitcoin. This is why we're focusing our liquidity efforts on TaparooSwap, which is a Bitcoin layer 1 DEX environment that, you know, it functions like any other automated market maker does, where
Right.
people can contribute to the token pairs as a liquidity pool, and they're incentivized to do this by earning the fee rewards from token swaps, right?
Right.
And it's all happening with layer 1 assets on Bitcoin. So it's still, that activity stays on Bitcoin as opposed to happening on Solana or Ethereum or whatever. Right?
Yeah. So go to the team chat and copy and paste that whole thing, and I'll show you where to paste it. But what you're looking at here is one of the
Holy
wearables.
shit. Okay. God damn.
Yeah. So that's why we abstract that away from users, dude.
Yeah.
And so post it in the avatar, and there's like an MML button there,
Okay.
and then just paste it, and then after that, hit the set button.
All right. I just did that. I'm invisible.
You're
aren't I?
invisible, and
And we broke the matrix.
and
Am I gonna render?
did you copy the whole thing properly?
I'm pretty sure, dude. I think I know how to copy and paste, but let me do it again. Just
If you
in case.
if you guys ever wondered if this was a live show, it's
This is live as
live.
it gets, dude. There's like no scripting of anything.
Yeah, despite what some believe.
Yeah, we don't have a
It's like-
teleprompter.
Yeah, it's like, when are you guys gonna stop reading the teleprompter? It's yeah,
We're not that
advanced.
No, we're not. Damn, dude. I did it again. It didn't work. So, but you have one on, don't you?
Yeah, I have one on. So
okay, you're good.
yeah, that's good enough. All right,
It's just
so
gonna be invisible around you.
so there's gonna be a collection out there. We'll send the link here when it's ready. But randomly, right? Clicking on these blocks, you're gonna randomly get one of these wearables, and it's either a foam finger or this like NAT speak up here. And in the foam finger, it also has NAT speak as well, but it's going to be different colors, different shapes, and the really, really rare ones are gold. And so they occur maybe like less than 1% of the time.
Okay.
And it's absolutely random because it uses the inscription ID. And so there's no way to know when you're going to get a rare one. It's pure chance. But like you were saying, the whole point of this is that we're going to take those funds to supply liquidity at the NAT at TaparooSwap, so that people can have an easier time to execute their transactions.
Correct. So yeah, this is part of a long initiative. So we're also, I don't know if there's any like projects out there who've been like itching and burning to become like block runner sponsors. I'm sure there's tons of you out there.
Yeah, everybody.
Guess what? Gates are open. Track and Tap is going to be our first official like channeled sponsor.
That's right.
So part of that is we've never taken sponsors for anything on this channel in our 6-year history.
Correct.
I mean, we've been flooded with like requests, and we've just, I don't know, for whatever reason. What are our reasons for that, dude? It's like we
I don't
wanted
know.
to preserve something,
Integrity, I guess.
whatever that is.
Well, I guess yeah. It's a
it's just
I
a,
mean-
a feeling of authenticity, I guess, because we felt like there's some sort of muckiness to like mentioning projects because we were paid to do so,
yeah.
as opposed to we just innately find something interesting. That's been our driving force this whole time. It's like, oh, this is
Yeah.
interesting. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And occasionally that happens to be like a 500x or
Yeah.
100x, and people tend to like that kind of content, right? Because
It's a lot of entertainment there.
yeah, sometimes interesting things are like severely undervalued. right?
Correct. Yeah.
Sometimes interesting things that we find are overvalued, and then they just die.
Yeah. Correct.
It's the nature of like the space and a nascent industry, right? But yeah, it's like, but we understand now we have a mission that we are aligned with deeply, and we have like a whole media operation here. It's like, why
Yeah.
not leverage that to again strengthen the prospects of this mission?
Yeah, and ultimately it's for the community, right? All the funds are going to be going towards supplying liquidity and getting the NAT token listed to exchanges, and
Yeah, that's another important one. Like, you know, because whether we like it or not, centralized exchanges are part of like the industry gauntlet for
you just said another wearable, like it or not.
Well, write it down, dude.
It's a wearable.
Oh, it's already in existence.
It's in there. Yeah,
like it or NAT.
Yeah.
Sorry, I fumbled my NAT speak. I should have NAT done that. But yeah, dude. So I'm back in NAT cat form, by the way.
There you are.
But yeah, for a lot of you guys who are like seeing this for the first time, you're probably like wondering, where the fuck are we? What are these like string bean characters here with cat-like appearances?
Why do you look like Gumby?
Yeah, very much like Gumby.
No, nobody knows what the hell I just said there.
Solid millennial reference.
Maybe Pink Panther is better.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of like a Pink Panther like body aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
But they're NAT cats. These are also DMT assets. Like we talked about, NAT is not like a
it's not a one-hit wonder. It's not just a fungible token. It is an ecosystem that represents the non-arbitrary era of cryptocurrency.
Correct.
And with that, you can build non-arbitrary wearables, avatars,
even an entire virtual world.
An entire virtual world. This is Bitmap. This is a non-arbitrary asset of the metaverse.
Yeah, let's run around a little bit. Just describe what Bitmap is for newbies.
Yeah, so this is a block on Bitcoin separated by transactions on Bitcoin known as parcels. So this is a parcel. And there are bigger parcels, there are smaller parcels, and they
have numbers right here at the corner.
Yeah.
That's literally the transaction number, right?
Correct. Yeah. And each transaction has a certain amount of Bitcoin transacted in, and that number of Bitcoin is the arbiter of the size of the parcel.
Correct.
So the more Bitcoin is transacted, the bigger the parcel.
Yeah, so all this is, these non-arbitrary parameters are provided by the Bitmap like protocol standard, right? So what we've done with the Natrix and Bitmap OS is essentially formalize that into like a 3D architecture, right? Now we can render, actual virtual environments off of Bitmap protocol theory and into something where people can, claim ownership of these individual parcels.
Yes.
And start to build things on top of them. So if we go back to where we were, or I guess anywhere, there's tons of examples.
This way.
Hold on, I lost you. I'm coming.
Right. Yeah, and so by good fortune, 20% of these parcels have sold, but the remaining 80%, if they sell, all that 80% is going to be going towards getting the NAT token listed, supplying liquidity, all that stuff. So you guys are picking up the theme here, right? We are doing stuff for the community so that we can get this idea propagating across all the planet.
Yeah, because we want to see more of this stuff. Right, we want to see more metaverse construction, specifically metaverse leveraging the properties of Bitcoin. That's what distinguishes Bitmap from all other like metaverse attempts in Web3's past. Like this is a non-arbitrary space, right? Yeah. Again, it's everything we're stepping on is provided to us by Bitcoin, right? Similar to like the tokens being directed to miners now are being issued by Bitcoin. Like that is the big breakthrough here. And the art itself, we're looking at Nat Dogus. This is another DMT collection. Like the traits and characteristics of these characters are all determined by patterns on Bitcoin. And the supply and existence of these art pieces, a PFP project, it's determined by a pattern on Bitcoin. Meaning, like if that pattern occurs again in the future, more of these will exist, right? Which is another breakthrough in like the landscape of non-fungibles. Like it's equally as arbitrary as the fungible space, right?
Man, this is a 3-pointer after 3-pointer, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what this like music setup is. This is interesting.
Maybe they're gonna create a podcast here, dude.
No, that looks like an actual. They might make songs.
Oh yeah, that's like a beat maker right there. That's a laptop.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, people were thinking out here of like, maybe these buttons will become functional. You can have an actual like music producer. So this is another initiative. We have tons of them, right? Obviously, our main mission is to get NAT like realized and validated by the market and increase its value over time.
Yeah.
Because we consider it as the Trojan horse for the entire ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
In the same way, like Rune's advocates, like Leonidas considered Dog.
Yeah.
That's the mission of Dog, right? Is like the flagship token that's been created on Bitcoin to represent like the entire ecosystem in a sense.
Yeah.
Like the whole future of runes rests on Dog's ability to become the #1 meme coin on Earth or not. If it doesn't work, runes are cooked.
Right.
Right? If it does work, runes not cooked. So it's like NAT. You know.
So speaking of cook, my battery is about to die.
Oh no, dude.
So we got to get out of the metaverse pronto.
Rapid exodus, dude.
And we need to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
Have a charger if you need it.
That's always nice to have lingering around, dude. Go ahead and supply some juice to this like dinosaur of a rig here. How dare it run low on fuel?
Yeah, this is absolute outrage.
Unacceptable, Will.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can't hear anything. Oh, no, it's back.
You're back? Okay.
Damn, that plugin disrupted like the entire circuitry of this environment. But we're back.
Just shuts down.
Yeah. All right. There's one more thing we want to talk about, and that's Jason Lowery.
Yeah, but again, if you want a Natrix parcel, go to subscribe. You can mint them here.
As a matter of fact, I'm showing that right now. So we're gonna share this link as well, and it's a pretty cool experience. You just click on a square and you go ahead and mint it, and then maybe everybody's gonna be jumping at the same time, but you'll be able to see each other inside this minting environment, which is another very cool thing.
Correct. And more of those wearables where you can actually, it's the flexing grounds for those foam fingers, right?
Yeah.
Forever part of your asset repertoire.
TJ, what's the time left?
We have 8 minutes.
Okay. I guess one of the things that we wanted to do that we're kind of running short on time is we want to talk about Jason Lowery. So Jason is one of the more interesting figures, talking about Bitcoin a lot, but doing it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much everyone talking about Bitcoin has been using the narrative of digital gold, which is correct. But it is correct, and it's also short-sighted because Bitcoin is much bigger than digital gold. I believe that. Jason Lowery obviously believes that. Eventually, Bitcoin will get to the market cap of gold, which is 20 trillion. That's just a 10x from here, so $1 million per Bitcoin. But I believe it's not going to stop there. And the reason is because there's a bigger play. There's a bigger thing happening with Bitcoin that it goes beyond money. And so from Jason Lowery's perspective, he was like, this is actually closer to a military application where it's leveraging this power projection theory, this idea of power projection where everything in the environment, every single living thing, including humans, we project power. And in the way that we project power is to increase the cost of an attack. Right. So if you have a house and you don't have any guns, the cost of an attack is practically negligible if you try to rob this house. Right. But if you have a shotgun or you have a machine gun or you have a grenade or a rocket launcher, the cost of attack continuously gets bigger. And so the benefit of attack is not that good if you're just going to get, rocket propelled.
Grenaded.
Yeah. Grenaded. Right.
As home invaders typically do.
Right.
Right. Just grenade them. Simple. Simple solution.
Yeah, just toss it, right?
Yeah.
And so the entire world works like that. Animals, bees, everything works like that. So what's happening with Bitcoin is it's also doing a power projection. And that power projection is being physically manifested in these miners, right? And so these miners are being deployed in different locations on the planet, and thereby making it much more difficult to completely shut down Bitcoin, right? That is its value proposition. And so what he's suggesting is that you can leverage this property of proof of work, and you could use it for other purposes other than financial, like a financial tool. And so that is his position. And the reason why we're talking about it today is because he's been talking about digital matter theory
quite a bit,
pretty consistently over the last couple of days. So he's been DMT pilled, and we think it's by Monero Nakamoto.
Shout out.
As a matter of fact, he said he DMT pilled him.
That's amazing. If you don't know who Monero Nakamoto is, he's one of our dear community members that we
yeah,
there he is.
There he is.
Appreciate like all this like diligence. So this is what we were talking about, dude. Bitcoin needed their Monero Nakamotos in its early days.
Yeah.
To really champion like these tenets, these principles of like, you know, we need to create some semblance of digital value in order to counteract what's going on in institutional finance. Like it's a good idea to kind of like as a society to figure out our hedge vehicle.
Yeah.
And let's do that with Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. These are the early day cypherpunk tenets of the Bitcoin community. So it's like, you know, DMT, we've got our champions running around, you know, slowly planting these seeds to these notable people like Jason Lowery. Because as Monero told us in the early days, like, hey, there's a guy out there who's kind of saying something that rhymes with what you guys are saying in context of what digital matter theory represents. Like, you should probably look into him. His name is Jason Lowery. He wrote a book.
Yeah.
It's right there on our shelf.
Yeah.
Soft War. And yeah, we looked into it. Like, holy shit. Yeah, we're definitely tapped into a similar wavelength. But
yeah. And so the point of this is that we need to describe Bitcoin as something bigger than digital gold, because it's inevitable that we're going to reach that market cap and go beyond it. And so once we go beyond it, what is the narrative? Like, we reach digital gold, now what, right? And so I want to read this part here. It says, we're still very early in the understanding of the theoretical computer science behind reusable proof-of-work networks. Like digital gold theory will get the price of Bitcoin to $1 million per coin by roughly 2030. But the real fun starts after that, when the public begins to understand and accept the deeper theoretical computer science behind proof of work that has begun to emerge over the last few years, like power projection theory, which came from him, and digital matter theory. That will be when we see the price run away to 100 million per Bitcoin.
and he's right. Many people
Do not have an idea what's coming.
that didn't really make sense, but yeah. Yeah, you not ready, in other words. That's what we like to say. You not ready? Because you know, UNAT is the non-fungible variant of a non-arbitrary token.
Yeah, and I guess the other spin is that you not ready.
That's right. We figured it out, dude. See? So our NAT speak game is on point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is, so he's right. This is where we are under the same umbrella of understanding. Like, there is a higher purpose to Bitcoin than what most people see today, right? Because the narrative of today serves, you know, the motivations of the now, right? Let's get Bitcoin to digital gold status. If enough people kind of see that and interpret that as like what it is that this network is collectively achieving,
yeah,
we can get countries on board, we can get big financial institutions on board, and it's happening in real time, right? We're witnessing this unfold in 2025. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you know, Bitcoin is a much longer prospect of value on, like, you know, the human time scale. So these narratives change over time, and they need to become even more vast in order to like that value to exceed and go beyond where it needs to go in order to sustain the network indefinitely, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Which is digital matter theory. What do you call it?
Power projection theory.
Bitcoin power, whatever. These are
Bitcoin
the new
power.
things that people need to kind of like gravitate and understand. Like, there's a whole new derivative potential of value here, and we could manifest an entire digital like economy around that.
We can, absolutely,
That
especially
is in
with especially with AI.
Yeah,
And you can do a lot.
We're talking a digital economy in the value of trillions.
Yeah.
Right? Which is like the original like projection for the metaverse economy's value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we could build an entire like infrastructure around that with these frameworks, you know, we're getting there, and that's tremendously valuable for Bitcoin at the end of the day.
Yeah. And Jason Lowery, he is writing a new book, right? So in addition to Soft War, I'm really excited about this book. But he says he shared an excerpt of the new book called Digital Power.
Oh, that's going to be the name of the book?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah, so I want to read one part of that excerpt. It says, "This is why I consider myself a proof-of-work maximalist rather than a Bitcoin maximalist. My focus is on helping people recognize the deeper significance of proof-of-work through emerging fields of theoretical computer science, such as digital power and digital matter theory. By shifting the discussion in this direction, we can highlight Bitcoin's true innovation and counter the distortions that fuel the speculative excess of the broader crypto industry. Simply remove money, gold, and finance from the equation, and it's suddenly far easier to orange pill people."
Yeah, that's in relation to the context before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of like
The context before is that in order to orange pill people using finance as like the vector of orange pilling,
yeah,
you need to have people understand fiat currency, how the way money works, and like.
Well, it's like, but the consequence of that is now you have like an entire crypto sector also like rooting on these same like financial
That's right.
derivatives of value,
Right.
which he claims is like responsible for like this rampant rug culture and rampant like people just getting financially wrecked in these markets, trying to chase like the next Bitcoin.
Yeah.
When they're not, right?
Correct. Yeah. And they're competing for like the finance angle. Right. And Bitcoin is like emerging beyond finance. It is like power. It is value. It is digital matter. Like it's these things that these other things cannot be.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking forward to that book. Maybe one day we can get to writing a book of our own. Maybe, maybe not. Depends.
And maybe Jason Lowery would like to join the podcast to discuss
that'd be cool.
This crazy rabbit hole that we're in.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to see that happen, just ping them. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely down.
All right. That's it for us. Thank you so much for watching. All the links will be in the description. We talked a lot about the NAT redirect, Bitcoin problem, the digital matter, digital power. If you have any questions, please let us know below. And if you find anything you want us to talk about, also let us know in the comment section below. Appreciate you for watching. We'll catch you in the next podcast.
Peace.